Okay, good morning, everyone. Today we have some hands-on experience using Tableau. Please go to week 3 and download the files. So I give you a couple of minutes to just download almost everything. By the way, how many of you have already have a programming class? Almost everyone, yeah? What about MBA students? Do you guys have any programming class? No? So I think some of you are in the MBA. Can you write a if command in Excel? Yes. So have you had any Excel course or something like that? Microsoft Office? Okay, that's fine. Anyway, so today we work, as you see, some of them are CSV, some of the XLSX. So CSV is mostly a text format. XLSX is a Microsoft Excel format. So within, open your Tableau and just from Microsoft, click on Microsoft Excel. And select the P1-Superstore US 2015 and just open it. So this Excel file has multiple pages. We just work with the order pages for today. So select orders. So if you click it, the orders would be just pop up on the bottom part. So click on order, so you see the order sheet. So it has like priority, discount, unit price, shipping cost, customer ID, and you can just see all other options like CT, profit, sales, so on and so forth. کلیک on sheet 1. So now I want to teach you how to make a new column or new variable by basically playing with other variables. So we want to make a new variable out of the variables you see here. So somewhere on the right, just right click and click on create calculated field. Yes. Repeat the last one. I think some of you just joined. Just let me 1 or 2 minutes, then I start from scratch. Okay. So for the people who just joined, please go to the week 3 materials and download everything, and then please come earlier because sometimes we want to work with some software. So if you come late, you cannot follow your friends. Okay, let's even work with the easier Excel file. So click on P1 Office Supplies.csv. So as you see, it's actually like super is easier. So we have order date, region, representative, probably who sold the item, item name, unit, and unit price. So now we want to bring it into Tableau. Okay, hopefully everyone already know what I'm doing. So having said that, just open Tableau. It might, okay, for me it's open now. Okay, now actually I changed the file. So CSV file is a text format file. So in order to bring it, on the left side, clicks on text file and select P1-Office Supplies. So now click on sheet 1. It's actually like previous file, but just less crowded. So I think you can easily follow me. Okay, so for today, first we want to make new variables out of the current variables that we have. So one of the easiest way, just right click on the left section on any empty place and click on create calculated fields. So we have unit price, we have number of units. So total receipt price is just unit price times number of units. So let me rename it to price. And under the price, I have a sheet to write my formula. So just drag units, type multiplication sign, and then drag units. So unit price times number of units. So it gives you the price. Press OK. Now I have a price. Okay. So you can basically, on the left side, right click, create calculated field. You can just put so many formulas and basically make any variables that you think is more helpful for your project. Yes? It looks like Excel. Yeah. So since a significant portion of you haven't had a programming course, I don't go too much in details. I already put some if command codes. So if you open the codes.txt, you see in the first line, I said if price more than 200, then it's expensive. Else, if price less than 100, it's cheap. else is a regular price. With the end, I finish this if, and with this end, I close this if. Okay, so if you're for your own project, you're interested to know more about commands or coding in Tableau, you can follow it. I put the link here that you can find so many of if conditions and basic cases. So just go here, click. Most likely for your project, you don't have to, but in case you need logical function, there is a good tutorial here, and you can just go and check the examples, and you can basically implement these in your project. So anyway, for today, let's just copy the first line. As you see, I'm putting if condition on the price. If it's more than a certain price, it's expensive. Less than cheap. It's something between cheap and expensive. Is a regular price. So copy. Then I want to create a new variable. So right click, create calculated field. Let's rename it this time. So maybe price dash categories. And I paste this one. Again, you don't have to use if conditions or any Python commands, but frankly speaking, it's easy. It really looks like Excel commands. So if I press OK, I made a new variable out of if conditions. Yes? Yes. You don't have to type it. So let's say new calculate the fee. You can just drag and drop, like units times unit price. You see? You don't have to type it. You can just drag and drop.
Yeah, I guess when I was naming the one, I put a calculator price.
Oh yeah, it's case sensitive. Yeah. Okay, let me wait 1 or 2 minutes if you have questions or you want to follow. Then I go to the next section. So let's do some simple visualization. For example, for the column, I drag and drop price categories or any names that you picked. Maybe let's, what else? Maybe price or number of units. So here you see sum of number of units for each price category. It seems most of your items in the expensive section, then regular, then cheap. Or we had, also we did price one. So price, maybe, let's say, those, and let's say region. So instead of, yeah, so some of the price in different regions. In Central, you had a better job. Maybe I can just change it to average if I don't like. So for changing the pre-selected functions, so as you see, I didn't say give me sum of prices. So just Tableau has an internal intelligence. Think maybe I'm looking for sum. If I don't like, take your mouse over sum and you see a smart triangle. Click on it. Then you go to measure sum, and maybe you can just select average. So you don't have to work with the pre-selected Tableau function anytime. You can make your own functions, your own variables, or even play with those basically variables. So I changed to average. Not too bad. Almost similar in terms of the average price, but it seems in maybe in central region we have more items or more set orders. So the summation was much more than other regions. So do you guys remember the application of histograms, why we make histograms? So basically with histogram, we look over the distribution of a variable over some numerical range. Here, we have some categories, but let's say if I don't have those categories, I just want to make a histogram out of price or any numerical value. I cannot just drag and drop because the price is a continuous variable. I cannot find frequency out of a continuous variable. Having said that, in histogram, you should make your own you should convert a numerical variable to its equivalent beans number or bean categories. So you should define what are the beans, and then you find the frequency on each bean. So, but let's talk. Let's say what I'm talking about. So let's just do a simple histogram. So now it makes more sense. Okay, so having said that, make a new sheet. Now I want to convert my price to some equivalent categories so I can make a histogram. So on the left or right section, just right click and create parameter. So no, I mean, that's a little after that. So, but sorry, just click on price, right click on price, and go to create and select beans. Because we don't want to make a random bean. We want to make beans out of the price. So right click on price, create, and then select beans. So again, price is a continuous variable. We want to, maybe we can divide it to a category of 0 to 1,000, 1,000 to 2,000 and more. Or maybe we can categorize to 0 to 100, 100 to 200, 200 to 300, 300 to 400. So let's make beans of 100s. So here next to price parentheses bean, I type 100 and change the size of bean to 100. Press OK.
100.
Yeah, please mute your microphone. So now for columns, I put price beans. And maybe for rows, I put sum of units. So now as you look at bottom, which just show my columns. So I have categories from 0 to 100, 100 to 200, 200 to 300. So I want to find sum of number of units on each price category. So basically, with the beans, I made my own categories for a continuous numerical value. So, but as you see, my bin size was 100. And I'm not sure if 100 is a good thing or not. Let's make another bin for maybe 1,000. So categories of 1,000. So over price, right click, go to create, then bins. This time I change it to 1,000. So even name has a 1,000 and bin size 1,000. Let's make another one. So price bin of 1,000. Maybe number of units. So do you think which figure is better, this one or this one? The only difference is I have a different bin sizes.
The last one.
Why the last one? Is actually it's very subjective. Is you really somebody might say, I don't care that much of details. For me, 1,000 is a good threshold. I want to see how many items are more than 1,000 and how many are less. So somebody might be 500. So this is very subjective. Who knows which is better? So instead, instead of just saying each time thinking of 100 is better, 1,000 is better, we can assign a parameter to size of the bins and then play with that parameter. So I don't want each time make a new sheet and just create a bin and then assign, so it takes more time. Having said that, over the price, right click, and then create parameter. So maybe it's, I want the default value would be 500. This is very arbitrary. So for some of you might be like this, just select range. So again, he could be either list all, but here select the range. Maybe I want my bin size changes from 100 to 1,000 and step size 100. So maybe one time I want to look at 100, then 200, 300, see which bin size is better. Okay. So select OK. So now if you look at left side on the bottom, I have a green bar which shows my parameter. But later you see what I'm talking about. So let's make a new bin. So you should right click on price, then go create. Then this time, instead of parameters, select bin. So let's put the name of parametric. Okay, so look at the second section. So second section is size of the bin. So it just picked 161 randomly. So, and you must remember previous time I select 100, one time 1,000. This time I want to say select out of the parameter. So I already defined a parameter changing from 100 to 1,000, and each time, and the steps are 100 by 100. So, and then press OK. So now I have another bin, which is a parametric bin. And this parameter links to the parameter that I just created. Okay, wait, I know some of you catch up, but let me just wait 1 or 2 minutes so everyone could catch up. Okay, let's make a new sheet. This time for columns, I put price parametric. And for the rows, number of units. So, but where is the parameter? The only point is playing with the parameter. So right click on parameter, price parameter, and select show parameter. So now look at the right side. I have my price parameter that I define. So I have 2 arrow keys. If I click on right, now I change to 200 because I said the step size should be 100. Then bins of 300. So if you look at my bins, the first category is 0 to 300, second 300 to 600, 600 to 900, and so on and so forth. And yeah, I can change all the way to 1000 because my parameter maximum was 1000. Let me show my parameter again. So price bin parameter, you can right click and select edit. So no, sorry, you should look at the parameter. So right click, edit. So look at my parameter characteristics. So the max is 1000. You see here, it starts from 100, and the step size is 102. So whatever you see here in the parameter are reflected in this basically graphical options that I have on the right. So with this parameter, if you are not sure what is your bin size, you can just easily play with that and select the bin size that is more informative or at least cuter. So takeaway for this section is a few things. How to define a new new variable, how to define bin size. So bin is just converting a continuous numerical variable to a categorical, which you define the categories based on some numbers, how to make histograms, how to play with the parameters and like make a more dynamic figure. So any question about this part? Yeah, just on the white part here on the left, right click and select create calculated field. Here you put the name, and previously my formula was unit price times units. So I drag unit price, then I type multiplication sign times unit. Yeah. Yes, I showed at the end of this session. Yeah. Any question about this figure? So in the next exercise, we basically want to play with some maps and see how we can work with the map on Tableau environment. So go to File and just select it. You can save this one if you want to work with later, but I just select a new one. So in the data source, again, I select text file, and this time I select p1-uk-customers.csv. So looking at the bottom, it seems I have customer ID, name, surname, gender, age, region. So region seems to be a part of UK, so England, Northern Ireland, Wales. Job classification, white collar, blue collars, and the date that joined. So this is about, I think it should have a balance too. Yeah, it has a balance. So it's about some a bank customers in different regions of United Kingdom. So it has a region column. So it seems we have some geographical reference. So we can use this reference to plot the information on a map. So select on sheet 1, I will click on sheet 1. So look at the left side on the table. So next to region, you see ABC. Means Tableau think it's just a text column. So it can, so Tableau has some internal artificial intelligence, but couldn't guess that this column is related to a part of United Kingdom. So we should tell Tableau that what we mean from region column. So select region, right click, and over geographical role, you should select a state or province because it was isn't actually a state or province of UK, but it is a part of UK. So you should select a state or province. So when you click on a state or province, look at the left part. Now you have longitude and latitude. So now it's more look like a geographical reference. For the column, drag and drop longitude. For the row, drag and drop latitude. So regions are something in the middle. So, and I said marks is for something that you want to play with the middle of figure. So drag and drop region. So you drag and drop region on the marks because it seems we want to play with the middle of figure. So usually that part is for that. But look at, nothing happened to the map, right? Still, Tableau needs some more help. More specifically, there is so many regions in the UK and US that are exactly the same. So even I think Canada, so you can find London in US and also in the Canada or something similar. So click on unknowns, just on the bottom right. when you click on for unknown, see this pops up. Click on edit locations. So the default location or country is United States. We are working with the UK information. So change the country. So click on United States. Then click on United States again and change it to United Kingdom. So you should click on for unknown. Then that pops up. So let me just close it. So click on for unknown. Then you see edit locations. Change country. Click on country and change United States to United Kingdom. Then if you click OK, look now, Tableau knows that I'm referencing or I want to work with the United Kingdom map. So this is fine, but sometimes, maybe it's more cuter if you have solid colors instead of just dots. So if you want to have solid colors, in the marks, change automatic to map. And change this one to color. So it was details first. So it's solid blue. I want to change it to color. So I select this one and select color. So let's put other informations like maybe age. So I drag and drop age here. Instead of sum, I think average makes more sense. So what I do, right click, change measure to average. So now when I hover my mouse over map, I see the average age. Maybe balance. So let's just drag and drop balance. Sum of balance here could make sense. So it's, yeah, UK is 84 million, Wales 2244, Scotland, and Northern Ireland 8 million. So we can keep adding information to a map, but maybe it just looks crowded. So one of the things that you can do, maybe I change sum of balance to label. So if I change it to 3 dots to that is square with the T in it, you see the sum of balance on the map. You can just keep adding information. It's either so if it's those 3 dots, when you hover your mouse, you see the information. If you change it to T, so you see on the map. But maybe it's enough. Maybe let's say just stop by now. Let's just see what other figures that we can make. So I make another one. Maybe here I want to look at my customer gender versus maybe their average balance. So I drag and drop balance. This time is sum. So let's just change it to measure to average. Sometimes I pause because I just want your friends to just follow me. So what if I want to have a color associated to a gender? So if I want to have a colorful bar, so I need to, it seems I'm working something in the center. So when I play something in the middle of figure or center, it seems I should play with the marks. So I drag and drop gender over color. Now I have different colors. It seems on average, they have more balance for the male population. Let's do something else. So this time I drag and drop maybe gender. And let's this time maybe sum of balance. And again, maybe you like a better color, so gender over color. So what if you want to see other figures, not just bar chart? Look at the right top, show me. Just click on it. You can select so many other figures. Just let's say just this one, pie chart. So if you look at the marks, it just automatically think the angle and also size could be associated to balance. Maybe we can, again, drag and drop balance over label. So we have labels here too. So what if you don't like the size? It seems too much, very small. So hover your mouse near a pie chart. Look, my mouse changed. Now you can drag to the right and make it larger, and do same for this side. Let's make another figure. Maybe this time I'm looking at regions and job classifications. And job classification, maybe I change it to count. Because otherwise, I mean, the figure doesn't make sense. So there's two textual. So I right click on job classification, then change measure to count. So more jobs over England, or more customers over England than Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. Let's say if I'm not happy with this chart, maybe I can select show me, and this time maybe bubble chart. It seems you have less amount of customers Scotland, Northern Ireland, Wales. Could be intuitive, or maybe you have to do a marketing campaign, maybe raising number of customers in those regions too. So again, in your project, you shouldn't say, I just made this figure looks good. You should say, okay, maybe if your project is about marketing, maybe you can say, it seems you need to do a lot more campaign, marketing campaign, maybe for Northern Ireland and Wales. Maybe for the customer wise, it seems to have more male customer are more interested to invest. Maybe you here there is not that much of gap, but maybe you can just think of how to encourage female customers to invest in your bank and have more accounts. Okay, so as you see, I have so many independent figures, each of them talking about a part of my data. So what if I, yes? Yeah, it's just, look at my mouse now, look at the shape. When I take my mouse near pie chart, now it changed, right? You select and drag to the right. Then look at the bottom, do same for the bottom of your figure. Approach your mouse near to your pie chart. You see the shape changed. Drag and drop. Now it gets larger. Well, yeah, that's one is just there. There is so many other different ways. So as I said, I have so many independent figures. So each time I need to just select the related sheet and talk about that. But what if I have all of them together and make a dashboard? And also, you might know the big differences of a dashboard and independent figure is in dashboard, figures are associated with each other. So if you look at the car dashboard, when you have a higher speed, your engine RPM also goes up. So these two figures have some correlation. So in dashboard, we not only put interesting figures next to each other, we also make them associated with each other. But let's see how. On the bottom, do you see I have a new dashboard page? Just select. So my first figure is about the map. Select and drag to this dashboard. Second figure is about gender average balance. Drag to the right, and you can drop it anywhere that makes more sense for you. I drag it and drop it on the right side. Then what else? Maybe regions. So I select regions, drag and drop it here. So 3 of the figures makes more sense. Sometimes you can add a note. So select text on the maybe left. So you see I have object. So maybe I saw some map of England that shows my balance, shows bank's performance. And just keep adding. You can sometimes actually these objects are not that much interesting. So for now, I want to just exclude it. Just no, it doesn't look good. So okay. So as you see, I can select some part of my figure, but still the figures are independent from each other. I want them associated with each other. On the right side of each figure, you see a tall black rectangle. Select the white triangle, click, and then select use as a filter. Then go to the bar chart, select use as filter. Here, select use as filter. Now, all of these figures are correlated, but let's see how it happens. On the map, I have whole of the United Kingdom. Now I want to select UK. Sorry, I want to select Scotland. Look what happens. It's in all of them are male here. So no, not male, I think. Let me just go back here. Yeah, it's just about region. So this figure is not informative actually, the left one. But if I select on Scotland, at least we can see distribution of genders. So when I click on UK, you see in the UK, the bank has a better performance for the females. Let me go back to this page and because yeah, this one doesn't make sense. So instead of region, I think I should change the figure completely, but again, no worries. If I select on England, here England is selected, and you can see distribution, same thing. So you can see distribution of average balance for different gender. If I select Scotland, in Scotland, you did a much better performance for the male. If I select Northern Ireland, yes, still in Northern Ireland, Wales, and Scotland, you have a better balance in the male side versus in England, you have a better balance for the females. Yeah, maybe instead of this one, let me just drop this. Now it's more informative. So as you see in the dashboard, I have associated figures. So when I select each figure, I can see its reflections on other parts of my dashboard. But even for your project, make it cuter. For example, instead of sheet, you can put a better name. So maybe instead of just sheet 2, I put average balance. Also, I didn't go over that because I think it could be very obvious. So you can, on each figure, maybe you can click on the labels, change formats, font size, those kind of things. So this is, I think since this could be very obvious, so I didn't went over that. Okay, so far we could make independent figures. We can make some dashboard. So you don't you shouldn't have just one dashboard. Maybe you could have much more than that. So similar to the figures, you can select a new dashboard and just put some of the figures for different purposes. Since the class time is limited, I didn't make several dashboards and several sheets. I just made some basic thing because the remaining is very straightforward. You just need to add, make more figures and more dashboard. But how do you present it? So in a company, which everybody has Tableau, you just save your Tableau, export it, and send it to your manager. Maybe you have a meeting, and everybody can understand what you are doing. If it's you want to present somewhere that people don't have, nobody has, or maybe just few of them has access to the Tableau, PowerPoint is a better version. More specifically, there is a free version of PowerPoint, so at least everyone can see what you are doing. But assuming you work in a place that everybody has Tableau, you can do presentation over Tableau. So look over here at the bottom, I have a new story. So select new story. Maybe here, I just first drag my map. Caption, I can put map of England. Maybe I can drag a text here. Bank performance in UK. So I put the text box here. Again, if it doesn't look good, you should make it good. So maybe font, I change it to maybe Times New Roman, and maybe bold. Color maybe could be pink. So on and so forth. So maybe then I want to talk about average gender performance. So I select sheet 2 here, drag and drop on the right or left side of map of England. Okay, my England has a typo, so let me just fix it. So second one is this figure. So maybe I can say gender overall balance. So you can keep adding figures, just drag the item on the left, drop on the right side. Let's just drag and drop my dashboard. So I select dashboard, drag and drop here. So for the text, maybe this time I put gender balance info in region of UK. Maybe bold. So if in one of assignment I said do something in Tableau and present, you don't have to just copy paste in PowerPoint. You can just you can do even a voiceover over Tableau. So you can come here. This actually looks like a PowerPoint file, but the good thing in PowerPoint you don't have dashboard, but you have a dashboard. So when you present, let's say you want to talk about Scotland, you can just select on Scotland and just talk about these figures on the left side. For example, here you can add, okay, it seems in this region, almost the total balance for the mail is much more. The number of customers, the average and also the sum is much more. Maybe you need to do a good marketing campaign in Scotland to just get more female customers. So you need to basically talk about the figures. Right now, Tableau looks very cool and gives a good amount of tool sets, but still you need to have a good story and talk and basically analyze and talk about your information, not just show, yeah, I know Tableau. So everybody in the class knows Tableau. So what you need to interpret the figure. So I think in terms of technical thing, today has some takeaways for you. How to make a map, how to make a dashboard, how to make a story. Oh, no, dashboard is this. So how to make a dashboard, how to make a story, how to present. In the first one, you learn how to make a calculated field or new variable, how to make beans, which is just for finding frequency of and frequency for different range for a continuous numerical variable, how to make a dynamic histogram using parameters. Again, on top of that, for you have learned there is a Tableau style codes or coding, which is very look like Excel. So let's say for your project, you want to find mean, max, write a case. I'm not sure if you know what this case means, but it's just basically advanced if condition. So you just Google it. So for example, how to make an if condition in Tableau. I gave you the link, but you can find them and just copy and paste in this part. Any questions? The people over Zoom, do you guys have questions about
Hello,
okay, let's
Professor.
Yes.
I have one question. How do you change the intervals in the y-axis?
How to change which one to y-axis?
The intervals in the y-axis, as you can see, the screen that you're sharing, we have like 0 to 100. It has interval of 100. If you have to change the interval to 200, how do we do that?
How I change this?
No, for the y-axis.
So this units?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't change it. It was default one. I'm just playing with the parameters.
Yeah,
I just said if you don't like this font size or color, just click on it, and you can play with that.
Okay, so in mine, I'm getting 500 by default. So I just wanted to know if we can change that.
Okay, right click, go to format. And here you can play the font size, and maybe your size is different, so you see different numbers. Also, here you can play with that. So there is a formatting thing. And also similarly, you can assign a parameter. So I talk about it later on, but I mean, basically similar to your axis, you also can have a dynamic figure.
Right. Okay, thank you, Professor.
Okay, open your PowerPoint, week 3. Okay, so just keep in mind your, I think like 2 or 3 weeks, you have first project delivery. So if you want to do a group of teams, please select your team. If more people in your group, there is more expectations from you. You have an assignment 6, which is actually a small project. So by end of this weekend, I give comments on all of your first presentation. Just keep in mind, try to have a better presentation for assignment 6. Because this course has 2 major sections or 2 major cores. First, you need to learn some skills and tool set. The second, you need to present them well. So it's the reason we have so many presentation style assignments. This assignment seems to be a complete project, but in very small scale. It has executive summary, introduction, you do some visualizations with Tableau, and you can just do a conclusion. So this is actually a small size final project. it's better to do a voiceover. I think if for the first assignment, that's totally fine. But I think if you do voiceover, is much better because you can talk about some figures and information. So you can even project on the wall and just present over that. That's fine too. But at least you need to show your figures. So please just limit to 5 minutes. You can have it more. It's not a hard threshold, but there's too many students in the class, and I want to grade by myself, not TA. So if you limit to 5 minutes, is much better for me. But again, this is not a hard threshold. So any questions about your next assignment and deliverables? Yeah, I think you have 2 other assignments. The due dates are either like today or tomorrow, something. 5 or 6. So you have more days. Okay. So the next section is about cognitive load. This is mostly about the artistic part and the thing that you need to keep in mind. Still, we don't have time to go over that. But if something that you never heard about that, probably you need to do your own research and just show how to have a more. These are some concepts that you can adopt for have more compelling and informative visualizations. Look at this figure. So what is good and what is bad about this? Yeah, this is good or bad? So what do you want to say something?
First of all, the text, I'm not sure what's going on with text. My eyes are glazing. And what exactly increase of popular vote in terms of parties? I'm not really understanding. I would just skip it.
Yeah. So look at your friend's comment. She might spend a little bit of time and then she just says, let's just skip it. So if you do something like this, you spend a lot of time, you put a lot of information, but nobody pay attention to you. So that is bad. Maybe you can do even it's not too much artistic. So at least if it was artistic, you could use it for show off, but again, even you cannot use it for show off. So let me read it. The larger the share of a graphic ink devoted to the data, the better. So just means you use less amount of text. It doesn't mean you should use some text. It's a good thing, but not too much. Signal is the information we want to communicate, and the noise are those elements that either don't add or in some was distract from the message. What exactly happened to your friend? She was totally distracted from information. This one could be artistic, but it's too much of information. Maybe if you have a board, you can just put it somewhere and just people just look at it for fun, but you cannot use it for making informative decisions. So these are some general concepts that please do your own research, but these are things that you need to keep in mind for having good visualizations. So there comes from Gestalt theory of visual perceptions. He made it, I think, right after First World War. Yeah, so this is the date of this theory. So let's look at some of it. So for example, proximity. So you could easily divide this figure in 2 sections because some dots have some proximity. So proximity, one thing that is important for visualization, just basically differentiate some part of your information from other. Or this one. I think this one, within each square, you have some dots, and some of them have some pattern in terms of proximity. So here at least you can have a seed. You can easily categorize your dots in 2 sections. Same this one. So some people are friends together, somebody are alone, somebody group of 2 or 3. So the next one, similarity. So based on the pattern and color, you can easily identify 2 groups of squares in here. Same here. So some animals look like each other, some are different. And the one enclosure. So you see different enclosures of circles here. So some are in ellipticals, some are rectangles. So you can identify different groups of items in your figure. I'm just skimmed through it. So we don't have time to go over that because it could be totally art, but just show you that these are some general concepts that you can follow and basically identify some certain information in your figure. Here. So these are not closed, but just you can identify 2 different shapes, right? Or even these symbols, they are not. So panda or NBC. So do you see the peacock in the middle of NBC sign? So it's not actual peacock, but your eyes just can identify the animal. So the peacock, the panda, or even that left side. I think it looks like a sea mine, but it's not closed. All of them are open, but your brain can identify a certain element. Continuity. This line is not continuous, but you have a feeling of this is a continuous line. Same here. Connections also helps you to find some patterns or some correlation between items. Same here. So you have 2 lines. I mean, without those lines that connect the dots, it's hard to see if there's 2 patterns, but when you connect, you just show it for 2 different patterns. Could be a sale of 2 items in different weeks of a year. So can anyone say what is it? Apple Store, where? This is the most famous Apple Store in New York. No, it is close to that, but you can walk from. I think you can walk from World Trade Center to Apple Store, but it's in front of another store. Let's see if we have time. I show the video. Unfortunately, I don't have. So watch the video later. Actually, it talks about the history of this Apple. That's a very interesting story. But as you see, it's very simplistic. The items are very complex, but the overall design is so simplistic. Another thing that just keep in mind, 8% of men. My father used to be colorblind in the evening. He didn't know that. So 0.5% of women. So if you are colorblind, you cannot differentiate the differences between these 2 figures. Is there anyone cannot differentiate these 2 pictures? So we don't have any colorblind students, hopefully. So maybe if you are shy, you don't have to. So, but just keep in mind, especially when you have a very crowded picture or figure, you have to use colors to differentiate between items. But if your audience are colorblind, especially I think in the evening, some people who has deficiency in vitamin A. So my father took some vitamin A pills, so he's not colorblind anymore. But so just keep in mind, sometimes you want to use color to differentiate items in a very crowded picture, but since your audience are colorblind, they cannot understand they cannot differentiate between different sections. Okay, so again, for Gestalt, I mean, the English pronunciation is Gestalt, but the actual German pronunciation is Gestalt. So these are some items that I just skimmed through them to just show you. These are 6 pillars of his theory, but if you have time, please do your research. It helps you for a better design and visualization. Yeah.
You don't mind mentioning color accessibility in general? That's the thing most people don't recognize, like using a very, very light font with a white background.
So
Color accessibility.
is the thing I never heard about that. I can do it. Come and explain it to your friends.
Oh.
You just okay.
Okay.
Yeah, just so good information. Let's learn something new from your friend.
So, I don't know if anyone heard the raise your hand about color accessibility. No, at all?
One here, 2 here,
You guys have?
and one here too.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. So it's like using a very, say, changes color to yellow and a white background. Completely cannot see it. For those who have issues with color, even with a smaller font, it goes hairy. So that's something that's growing as a trend for marketing purposes. I do suggest researching it just because I have issues with it, and I'm pretty sure as we get older, it becomes worse. So, okay, just look up. I'm horrible. Don't ask me for more.
Okay, she gets a bonus. This is your assignment for the next session.
Oh no.
One of your assignment. You have already, so you don't have to submit it because you already explained it to your friends. So it's something new for me. I do the assignment too because I never heard there's such issues, and it seems a very important thing. Thank you very much. And yeah, I posted assignment later, but you get a good bonus too. Thank you very much. Any questions? Okay, that's for today. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye. Oh yeah, thank you. There's this attendance. Yeah. So let me just